Zach Reynolds alongside Luke Hamilton and Oilers head coach Rob Murray for this week's virtual coaches show. This week, only 3 games on the schedule, which seems like barely anything compared to what we've seen lately. The last 3 weeks with 4 games in 5 days, and now first 3-3 in a while that it's just only the 3-3 against Rapid City. But to start off the show, we have obviously some big news that happened this week, and a couple of trades that were made yesterday. Brent Gates sent for Michael McNicholas of Indy, and then also you get Hayden Hockey in here for the rights of Miles Liberati. Maybe just kind of walk us through how those trades happened and what you were looking for when making those deals.
Well, quite honestly, Zach, I mean, I'm not doing my job when things aren't good to not make changes. And changes can be small little things or try to make a splash. And obviously a guy like Brent Gates, we know what he brings. I think he was underperforming, to be quite honest. And in comparison to what we knew, what he brought last year. And there's an opportunity to make a move. And, I don't want to call it a big splash. I mean, it is what it is, but you move one of your top players and try to make a difference, try to make a change, try to add a little more, I don't know, something new, I guess, to the lineup. And with Michael, I think that he's a very dynamic power play guy. And by the way our power play basically performed over the last week, it's something we definitely need. And hopefully he can really help with that. But he's a good all-around player. I believe 2 years ago he had, I think, 53 points in Maine, something like that. So, he's got a proven track record as far as what he can bring to the team. And for my money, I think that without seeing him, you could call it a straight up trade, but hopefully he brings more than what Gatesy was bringing us at the time. Unfortunately, Austin Rodebush didn't give us what we wanted or needed. And his stats, I mean, I don't have to tell you, I mean, his stats were horrible. And kid tried. I mean, he was a really nice guy. He was a good pro. Like he worked hard, but when needed, he just didn't give us what we needed. So there was an opportunity to get a goaltender that has ECHL experience, and we're still in kind of basically limbo with Durney right now. We still don't know the extent or how long he's going to be. He's got a ankle sprain, a high ankle sprain, which is basically for a player, you can kind of play with it. For a goaltender, because of the movements in the butterfly, it's a death sentence. So he can do, I was watching him in the gym the other day. He can do balance drills. He can do whatever he wants on his ankle. Yet once he gets into that prone position in the butterfly is when it's not strong enough or painful. So right now we're his timeline. He's going to try to get on the ice on Friday, and again, given the opportunity to get a goaltender, not knowing the ultimate, basically when Roman will be back, I had to do that and make a change.
And with Hayden Hockey, he comes into this team coming off a very good week with Allen. He picked up a shutout, his first ECHL shutout. I was actually just talking to Tommy Daniels, their broadcaster, and he was really impressed with how he played. He's a draft pick. He was picked by the Montreal Canadiens. Wasn't signed to a contract, but still to be picked by an NHL team. And I mean, he leads his college all time in games played, wins, shutouts. He's second in save percentage, goals against average, and then also, I mean, he was the USHL goaltender of the year in 2014. So obviously he's got some pedigree behind him, and he hasn't had a ton of games in the ECHL. We've actually seen him a couple of times. He made his pro debut against us to BOK last year, and then we saw him earlier this year in Wheeling. And with that, does that kind of maybe help calm the room a little bit when there's a guy that's coming in, that can give Willie maybe a little bit of a break here and there, and you maybe not holding your breath when he has to go back between the pipes into the crease?
Yes, I mean, exactly everything he just said. I mean, it's he had a very good college career at Providence College. When he was drafted by Montreal, a 6th round pick. He was actually in the USHL at the time, and probably the year that you're referring to. And again, it's that we know Willie's going to play the bulk of the games, but you need that guy to be a guy that you can put in that can win a game. And we were hoping for that with Rodebush, and it didn't work out. So, you look elsewhere. And Hayden's a kid that last year was in Kansas. I was talking to him yesterday, and he was in Kansas City the whole year. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea. Like, quite honestly, he was on their roster the whole season. They got 2 contracted goalies from Calgary, and he was just the 3rd guy all year. So he was there the whole year. So maybe, from a lack of playing, he kind of bounced around a little bit again, obviously already this year, Wheeling, Allen, and then us. But the pedigree's there. He's got experience. He's got coming off, like you said, a good week last week in Allen, where he had a shutout, and hopefully he can kind of just keep that momentum going when he gets a chance to play for us.
Yeah, sort of going off of the goaltending here this year, it's obviously been what I would say the most consistent part of the Oilers game this year, certainly when Durney and Williams has been that combo, and sort of trying to add some consistency or sustainability, you could really even say. Just in the scoring department, diving in a little bit with McNicholas for Gates, that exchange, was that maybe scoring sustainability, those 2 words sort of coming around in your head when you're looking to bring another guy in, as you don't want to necessarily keep having this trend of, hey, we've got 1 or 2 guys that are going and scoring spurts, but can't quite give us that sustainability. 108 points in 155 ECHL games for McNicholas. Do you think maybe he can bring that sustainability with scoring when bringing him in?
I mean, definitely that's the plan. I mean, you don't know until the game's being played, but it's something that we've been searching for all year. You look at Danny, and Danny, who's had some runs that have been remarkable, yet 7 games since he's been back from San Diego, he's got 1 assist, and that being a secondary assist on a power play. So, guys in general, they go through hot and cold stretches, and there's the consistency that we're lacking through up and down the lineup that we just keep searching for it, basically. And hopefully McNicholas can come in and bring that, especially help the power play, and obviously chip in full strength also. But I mean, and I'm not grasping at straws here. I'm just trying to improve us as a team. And as I led off with it, I'm not doing my job if I'm not trying to do this. And so, for example, like, I was making calls between the 2nd and 3rd period on Sunday afternoon. And because I knew at that point that, we needed a change, we need something. And I don't want it to be a veiled threat. Like, I can't go stand in front of the players and say, there's changes coming, and then 2 weeks later, we still have the same roster. It's that I can't be phony with what I'm saying and not back it up. Now, it's not a thing that I'm thinking, okay, well, I got to show my authority. Yet the proof's in the pudding. You got to do. You say you're going to do something, you got to do something, and that's how this all kind of came about.
And with McNicholas as well, something that we had kind of talked about with Brent Gates in the pregame, and Luke pointed it out. Maybe looking a little slower than he had in the past, and trying to go kind of at guys and through guys with stick handling. And when we saw McNicholas in the 3 games here at the BOK Center earlier this season, I mean, he seemed like a player that was kind of hard to catch from behind, and could kind of fly through the neutral zone with the puck on a stick. And is adding a speed something that you really want to see with this lineup? Whether that helps with the forecheck, or helps maybe pair him up, and when you get a guy potentially back like Charlie St. Pierre, you can kind of wreak a bit of havoc with speed in the transition game.
Definitely, Zach. I mean, right now we are playing slow, and I see it. Zack sees it. I was talking to my son Zachary the other night after he watched our game on Saturday night, and the first thing he said, that he says, "Dad, you guys look slow," and not everybody's got Charlie St. Pierre's speed. Not everybody's got Jack Bedini's speed, but you still have the ability to play fast. And I'll use an example. Probably our best player right now, sorry to say, and he'd laugh at me for saying it, but Alex Crom has been as consistent as you get. And he is bringing the details of the game. And there's a guy that doesn't have the God-given speed, yet he's playing fast. He's playing to his potential fast. And because of it, he's been effective. And Cromer's still sitting at no goals this season, yet he's had a lot of good chances just recently, and he's complemented the line he's been on. I think him, Taylor, and Lazarchuk have been our best guys the last few games. Like they're the ones that are contributing the most. And sorry to say, on the depth chart, that's kind of our third line. And so the other guys within the lineup have to step up and start playing a faster game, faster to their potential, faster. And that's what we're not getting now. You can look at it, you can make excuses all day long and say, well, we just came off four weeks of 4 games and 5 nights. But I'm sorry to say, every other team's doing it too. So, I'll never make excuses. I'm not going to throw excuses out there. And that definitely is not one I'm going to use, because we can say that. And yes, we're tired. I mean, guys are beat up. Guys are playing hurt. Guys are fatigued. But every other team's dealing with it too. And so that excuse gets thrown out the window real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and part of the speed game as well. We talked a little bit about just having a little bit more competitive shots throughout the lineup. Maybe Matt Greenfield wasn't challenged as much as this group could have challenged him. And we've seen guys like Lazarchuk challenge the netminder quite a bit. Alex Crom even getting some partial breaks, like you mentioned. When we look in the third period of maybe that last game on Sunday, maybe some desperation shots, they're late or getting closer to, that breaking point of the game where, hey, we really got to get on the ball here. Do you want to see more of an urgency, just to get to the puck to the net and crash bodies there and really start to generate some more competitive shot shooting with a purpose? Have you seen a growth in that, maybe with any individuals or just a unit in general right now?
Well, quite honestly, Luke, I think it went the other way. And Greenfield was very good for Kansas City when he came in on Friday night for Ginn. But I can't tell you how many times we hit him right in the crest. Like we didn't make him make a save. And the kid's got the ability to make a save, don't get me wrong, but we made it easy on him. And our shot totals were right along our average where we usually do. But, I can't tell you how many times, man, I'm standing on the bench and I'm like, wow, hit him in the crest again. It was just that. And, it's to my fault, or I say it to the guys all the time. I know you're not trying to score. Like I get it. I know that. Yet when given the opportunity, that purpose is not being translated into the game well, I shouldn't say just yet, just recently. And, we just haven't, we're getting our chances. I mean, you look at Marlowe's chance on Saturday night, like he's all alone. Like, I mean, 3 feet from the net and he put it over the net. The chance we had on the power play on Friday night in Kansas City where we had a wide open net and we hit the post. Just little things like that it just makes the difference. It's minute, yet it makes the difference in the game. One of the things that, I think of my kids and this game they play opposite day, right? I say yes, they say no, whatever. And for one reason or another, I've been stressing discipline, especially against Kansas City. It's got a very good power play. Well, it was opposite day on Sunday. I mean, we were so undisciplined, it was stupid. Saturday night also. And like, okay, I believe the game was 4-0 at the time. And Mike McKee takes the double minor at the end of the second period. Okay, are we going to come back from a 4-0 deficit? It's been done. I mean, it's not impossible. Yet that spelt our demise right there. Because then Marlowe takes a slashing penalty right at the beginning of the second period. Now it's a 5-on-3, basically a full 5-on-3 for Kansas City. And what happens? They win the game 7-1, 5 goals on the power play. And all due to our undiscipline, because Sunday obviously was opposite day.
You speaking of the kids, Zack playing in the NAHL right now, and was looking at the stats the other day. He had 4 points in a 3-game span, and he's second on his team in plus minus, and seems to kind of be picking up the point totals here as of late, playing with Fairbanks. I think they're still playing in Minnesota though, due to the virus. But how's that been this season? This is his first full year playing juniors, and how has it kind of been just being able to watch him and play at a high level, and it's nice to be able to watch the games online and everything like that.
It's been fantastic. I'm very proud of them. They actually are on a plane right now headed back to Fairbanks, and they're going to finish the season up in Fairbanks. So he went from Marshall, Minnesota, that was 80 degrees yesterday, to, I believe today in Fairbanks is going to be a high of 8. So he's in for a rude awakening, but hey, he's an Alaska kid. I mean, we were there for 6 years, so he knows what he's getting into, but he's playing, he's playing a really good hockey right now. And his season's been kind of up and down, a little bit frustrating because it's new to him. And, he's the big man on campus when he's playing U18 hockey with the Little Capitals in Washington and all that. But now it's a different level, and there's a fine line where, if he doesn't have a good game, they've got a lot of extra bodies, and he's been healthy scratched a few times, but his plus minus has been great. He's been doing a great job on the penalty kill. He hasn't played much power play, but he's getting his points, and he's playing he's playing really good. And like I said, I'm very proud of him. And this has been a weird year for him. I mean, he's in Marshall. He had to move houses, so he's had 2 billet families in Marshall, and then obviously going back to Fairbanks, he's been in touch with his new billet. She's a single lady who's a nurse that has 6 huskies, and they all are indoor dogs, like, believe it or not. So he's walking into that, but they got snow machines, and so he's enjoying what it has to offer away from the rink also. And but it's been great being able to watch him. Trouble is that a lot of times our games are played at the same time his games are, so I usually have it, and the only good thing about that is they usually start at 7:30, so I can kind of catch between our periods, watch it for just a little bit. So, but no, he's doing well, and just like I said, I'm proud of him.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you're in U18 and then you sort of get into the junior level of things, it is sort of really a big benchmark for players in general. And just as a father, having the opportunity, of course, know what it's like for young players to sort of start that journey at that level. Is there anything that, you stress to your son, maybe balancing, that portion of his life? It really does kind of feel like that's the true start of your journey, to as far as you can get in this game. And, just knowing players and looking at players and juniors, is there anything you, really feel is super important for just a young player developing in hockey at the junior level?
Well, it's junior, it's pro, it's here's the thing. Like I said, he was the best player on his U18 team. Well, you know what? Every guy on the team he's playing for was the best player that was on their
Right.
U18. So the talent pool is broadened immensely at that point. And it only gets harder as you go forward. So you have to find your niche. Like, I can look at my own career. Like, when I played midget hockey, I was the guy. I mean, I was the captain of the team. I led the team in scoring, blah, 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 right? Well, I go to play junior hockey in Peterborough in the Ontario Hockey League, and all of a sudden, I have to transform my game into a defensive specialist. I was and that's what carried me through my career. So I was able to learn or see that by myself early, and I knew what would maybe make me successful at the next level. He's seeing that now too, and the other thing too, Luke, is that there's so much downtime. Like last year he was a senior in high school. He had school, went to practice, came home, did his homework, went to bed. Like his day was full.
Right.
Now you play junior hockey, same thing as pro hockey. You practice for, maybe you're at the rink 2, maybe 3 hours a day, and then you've got the whole day and you've got nothing to do. So it's that downtime. What do you do with it? Like do you go to the gym? Do you do things that keep you active outside of maybe playing video games or falling into a trap of, and I'm sorry to say, and I'm going to say it, but like drinking beers, smoking weed, right? I mean, that's the trap doors that you got to avoid. And he is so dedicated to playing hockey. He is that kid that will do that. So, no, sorry, not drink and smoke weed, but
Right.
he's the kid. He's the kid that's going to go to the gym and find something to do. Go fishing. He was doing target practice the other day with shotguns, which he's never shot a gun in his life. Like just neat things that. And then now again, going to Alaska, I know. I mean, there's he's going to be four-wheeling and riding snowmobiles, and it's a great experience if you choose to experience it. And that probably is my message to him more than anything. And our players, you got to find something to do. With the weather getting better around here, like I would hope the guys are going out golfing, and like just filling your time so that you're not sitting at home vegetating and not filling your brain with something to do.
Looking ahead now at this week coming up, 3 games with Rapid City. Luckily, all of them, here. You don't have to travel up there, which is always a big stressor. And you look at things maybe from this last week, heading into this week. You have some different personnel. We've mentioned, McNicholas coming in. Do you have maybe an idea of where you want to throw him within the lineup? Is there particular guys you think that he may match up well with? And is there anything that you saw from this last week that you might want to tweak, even if you hadn't brought in a new player in terms of maybe not who's playing, but who is with who?
Well, definitely. I mean, and the other thing is, Danny's coming off his suspension. You've got that scenario right now. I would say, looking at my board, where McNicholas slides in is left wing with Moynihan and Pleshkash. That's the way we'll practice tomorrow. and he flies in tonight, so he'll be available to us tomorrow in practice. Hayden Hockey is driving up from Allen as we speak. Actually, he might even be at the doctor's getting his entry physical right now. But so we're going to have both those guys on the ice tomorrow. And I think that definitely McNicholas, and I've said it before, like, here's the situation. Like, you gotta put a guy in a position to have success. And if I got to imagine if Danny's playing the way he can and Plesh is playing the way he has and always does, that's going to be a good fit for him. And I really believe that that could be a dynamic line going forward. And that's my ultimate goal is to have that group of guys that are dangerous every time they hit the ice.
In Rapid City, it's a team that we haven't seen very recently. In fact, the least recent team we've seen, out of everybody here in the West, and of course the Mountain Division in general makes up that West just about. But it's definitely a different team, and that's certainly something that has been evident through their play as of late. Just maybe not different personnel as far as their core, but just better execution all around, especially offensively. For Rapid City. And is there anything, that you can take away from last time you saw this team with it being so long ago? And is there anything that you maybe have seen or heard about that you might have just want to keep an eye on with your own team in Rapid City just as a matchup?
Well, we'll pre-scout them there or here in the next couple of days and reacquaint ourselves with them. But, one of the things that I always find is a hallmark with them is that they work hard and they play a physical game. Always seem to have good goaltending. Like the games that we have lost against them, you come away shaking your head because you dominated and their goalie just stood on their head and then they score a goal real late. And it seems like that's a reoccurring theme a lot of times when we played Rapid City. We've had our success against them, and for that reason, I'm regardless of how good they're playing, I think that, as I always say, guys, we just got to go out and play our game and do what we do and do what we do the best we can. And hopefully that is good enough. Now, one of the things that is a little bit troublesome is that as good of a defensive team as we've been not the last, but all season, without a doubt, that slipped away from us this past week. Giving up the goals that we did, giving up the power play goals that we did on Sunday, that has to be rectified. We need to not allow that we got to get back to the way our defensive structure. I don't know that our defensive structure had changed or we were lax in that area. It just, the holes were found, I guess. And we, that definitely needs to be tightened up in order to have success this weekend against Rapid City.
And, this year, Kansas City as a team has just kind of seemed to have the Oilers' number as far as the season series goes. It's the largest gap. I mean, against most of the other teams, in the conference, the Oilers are 500 or above. You look at like Wichita, significantly above 500, and they're a playoff team. What is it, do you think, about Kansas City that allowed them just to have success this year against the Oilers, as we'll only really see them kind of one more major series left this year?
I honestly, it gets back to the discipline again, guys. Somehow, some way, they get under our skin and throw guys off their game. The games that we've played against them, you guys say it all the time. They're the least penalized team in the league, and it shows night after night. And for one reason or another, it gets infuriating because they're not. When it's all said and done, they're not a clean team. They just get away with what they do, and then it frustrates us. And for one reason or another, that has equaled what our season series is against them. And I look back at the weekend here that the hooking penalty on Pleshkash on Saturday night. Watching it again, and I had to rewind it about 5 times. I'm like, where is it? I don't see it. And I asked LeCun on Sunday, I said, I said to him, I said, Cooner, I said, I couldn't find it. Like, where was it? So I think maybe that frustrated us too, because a lot of times you got to figure out the ref and see what he likes to call. You know what I mean? Like, what is the specific call that he makes more than anything? And with LeCun, a lot of it was slashing and hooking. So you have to be careful and stay away from that and be smarter than the average bear. And I guess Kansas City was a smarter bear than we were.
And sort of just to dive in, reminding me just a little bit of the penalty kill and the power play in general. Reading an article this week just about some of the best power plays, even at the NHL level right now. It's sort of always a staple, a great power play, constantly be moving your feet. Getting that penalty kill outside their box, force them to go to the spot to make a play. And really over this past stretch of a few weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks, there was a stretch there where the power play looked really well. And, I just sort of noticed it was the feet were moving. Personnel was exchanging. There was confidence in moving the feet and getting the puck to where they needed to. And is that something that you want to emphasize here, maybe with obviously a personnel change now that we're going to see on the power play? Like you said, maybe getting a McNicholas in there, a guy that likes to move his feet, doesn't like to stay in one spot, and can really maybe help out the power play, help win games again here.
I think so. And when it's all said and done, a power play can win you a game. I mean, you can get outplayed, but if you can go 3 for 6 on the power play, that makes a difference in the game. And moving our feet, yes. I mean, that is a thing. Yet, honestly, Luke, on the power play, and the old adage is let the puck do the work for you. And by saying that, what I mean is that puck's got to move. And we saw it with Kansas City. They used a very aggressive penalty kill against us. And how you counteract that is you move the puck quick, because if you move it quick enough, they can't get to spots as quick as that puck is moving. But we tended to get stale and stalled on our power play. Getting back to Brent Gates, one of the things that I noticed, like, he just stood on the half wall with the puck too long. I mean, just eating up 5-6 seconds without one pass being made. And if you don't get the penalty killers moving around, those open passes, those seam passes, the shots from the point, they will never appear. And so that's what, again, let the puck do the work for you. And if we can do that, move the puck around, that's when our power play is good and is successful, is when we're moving it quick and taking the opportunity, the openings when that puck is moving, that the seams open up and opportunities to get the puck to the net are there. When you play a slow power play, as we did over the weekend, what happens is when you get impatient and then you finally try to get a shot through, well, you haven't got anybody to move. So I mean, you guys know as well as I do, how many times did Cockrell get his shot blocked? Mm-hmm. And it was because the backside defenseman never had to move where he was. So he held his front in front of the net and was in a great position to block a shot. You move that puck around the perimeter 2 or 3 times, get it back to Cockrell. Well, that guy won't be there where he's supposed to be if you let the puck do the work for you.
Well, unless you have anything else to add, I think we've had another good one here this week.
You think it was good?
I think so.
All right, man.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
All right. Thanks as always for joining us, and we'll catch back up with you on Friday.
All right. Thanks, guys.